Krishna from birth, from his life. Actually, his mother used to read Srimad Bhagavatam while she was pregnant. So Prabhu has all that qualities of deep devotion to Lord Krishna. So Prabhu excelled in his career. He was even a badminton champion all over India. Of course, in academics, he was excelling everywhere, and that's how he came in NIT Suratkal. And there, when he came in touch with devotees, his Radhesham Prabhu, who is one of our youth preachers in India, then he actually immediately wanted to join and give this message of Bhagavad Gita because he understood that this knowledge is most important, even more important than our vocational studies, you know. But his mentors guided him that you better complete your studies. So he came to US just for preaching the message of Bhagavad Gita, not for for IT or anything like that. But Prabhu has the understanding of our Shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and also its practical application. So today we can take this opportunity to hear from Prabhu. And he has developed so many youth centers in India. He's actually pioneering all the North India branch of ISKCON for youth preaching, for youth empowerment. More than 100 or more than actually 1,000 students come to the yearly camps when they do in Mayapur, in Bengal. So also Prabhuji is doing temple construction in Varanasi and Prayagraj, where the Mahakumbh was there. So he's building beautiful temples for his Radha Mohan, Shri Radha Krishna. So there's so many things. During the COVID time, he served prasadam. So many people who were not able to have access to meals. He was even honored by PMO, Prime Minister Office. He sent a letter for thanking him. How they distributed prasadam. He also runs many NGOs where children who are underprivileged they get education, how they can learn about computer literacy. Even women who want to do stitching and all, he provides. He works in them. So he has so many projects, but still he comes, to US so that he can share this Krishna consciousness because he's guided by his mentor. So let's thank His Grace at Mohan to with a big round of you can maybe say a few words about so that Prabhu knows, because he knows how to present Krishna consciousness according to the audience. So maybe we can share how long we have been in touch with Krishna consciousness. Then we met devotees in the sense. And if you are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra or reading Bhagavad Gita, you can tell that about that.
Yeah, and of course your name and
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
I think
yeah.
My name is Kautukarna Das. I got in touch in 2011. I have been chanting since 2011. And I was working in IT for 10 years. I joined as a full-time monk 2 years ago, inspired by the teaching of Srila Prabhupada. And continue from yoga.
My name is Yogatesh Das. I work as a software engineer. I don't remember when I got in touch with Krishna consciousness. When I was younger, I think maybe in school, I started chanting 16 rounds back in 2021. And I think that's it. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thanks. My name is Keith. I am product manager, also in tech, and I recently got introduced to Krishna consciousness. I believe I am on a spiritual exploration. I'm exploring a lot of different gods, their message, their learning, reading a lot about different gods right now. So it's Krishna is what I'm reading these days.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been like, I think 3 weeks. So yeah, completed Bhagavad Gita, got a lot of good valuable lessons out of it. I'm reading the self-realization book right now.
Yeah. Science of
Yes,
self-realization.
it's too complicated for me to understand. So if you can shed some light on it, that'd be helpful. That's
Are you from Gujarat?
you know,
Yeah, because I think he shared some time back who all are coming. So he told,
Uh,
I just
I mean,
remembered.
I have roots in this article.
Yeah, you can as well say that, you know, but people out here will consider you from there. Hare Krishna. Vinay.
I don't think like I'm directly into Krishna consciousness, but in general, I started like reading, listening to pravachans of Ramayana in my bachelor's study. And slowly after that, when I graduated, I started listening to Bhagavatam as a pravachan in Telugu, own language. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Like when I had completed Bhagavatam, I felt that that was something amazing. And it stuck with me. Bhagavatam and stories, Vairagya part of it. I mean, it has many aspects to it. Yeah, I felt it very unique kind of style. Yeah, from thereafter, I think I had this little devotion for Krishna.
Good, good. Yeah, Bhagavatam does that. Welcome.
Hare Krishna. So my name is Shubham, and I'm from UP Muzaffarnagar. I'm not into-
Shubham Gupta, right?
So right now I'm not into Krishna consciousness, and I'm not chanting as well. But I would like to start, and that is why I used to visit ISKCON in India as well, and yeah, when I move here, so I first go to the ISKCON. So yeah.
So where in India did you visit ISKCON temple?
We have that in Bangalore.
Yeah.
And we have that in I visited in Bangalore, and I visited in what we call that, Vrindavan.
Oh, really? Wow, that's good.
Yeah, the Vrindavan. So yeah.
Krishna Balram temple.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome, Shubham.
My name is Sattva. My name is Sattva. I'm a software engineer in Cadence Design Systems, and I got introduced to the books around 2014. I met devotees in 2015. And I'm currently staying with a devotee like nearby. And yeah, that's mostly.
Hare Krishna.
So I think I got initiated in 2016. And I've been with Prabhu and other roommates of his for a long time. I'm working as an IT engineer. Yeah, so I got introduced with the Hare Krishna movement when I was doing my bachelor's in engineering.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.
I am Shubho.
Can you come again?
Shubho. SHUBO. Shubho.
Okay.
And yeah, I go to Stanford nearby. I discovered ISKCON I think last summer, August. I've been going every Sunday. It's been awesome.
Wonderful. So every Sunday means here in ISV.
Yes.
Okay. You study in Stanford?
Yeah.
Yeah, undergrad.
Undergrad.
Wow.
I take the bus every Sunday and stay for the Sunday discussion with these. Yeah.
Good.
He came at 6:15.
So
I came on.
yeah. I've been waiting, so today I understood kind of like. So who introduced you to the temple?
I just discovered on Google Maps. I saw there's an ISKCON nearby, and my parents, I was brought up religious, and so we go to the temple one day nearby anyways at home.
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of reconnect with faith, and yeah.
Where are your parents?
New York.
Okay. So you were born in New York?
I was born in Bangladesh, and then I came to New York when I was 2 or 3.
Welcome. So I know, sir, but you can.
My name is Sri Gopi, and I'm in real estate by profession, and I got introduced to Krishna consciousness through Adinath Krishna Dasa.
The sweetest guy on the block.
I bumped into him while I was going for purchases of Indian groceries, and the first time we didn't talk, there were other guys whom I spoke, and they gave a bundle of books and all that. So I carried them, and I told and I'm not big into reading, and mostly if you have some audio book, that would be useful. And again, second time after a few weeks, then I encountered again at the same other Indian grocery store, and I told myself, like, what is that I'm born in India, and then I came here, mostly to materialistic things and all these, and Radhanath seems to be from a different city, and what is wrong with me? This reality. Because I'm religious. I pray God, and I follow all the religious these things, and it was so confusing for me to have so many festivals, so many gods, goddesses. I think even after independence, India, I think my parents were following religiously everything, but I used to have all the curiosity, like why is this festival, that festival? Can you tell me the significance and why it came into existence? That is, I never used to get any answer, like straightforward. I mean, as an youngster, you're logical, you're like, you're questioning everything, and you refuse to follow, like, just rituals and tradition and all. That's how my teenage youth and middle age, by the middle age, I came here. Okay. So, that was so confusing. Like, and I was religious. I was doing everything, and I heard about Gita, but I never read it. So that's how I said, like, Prabhu, just give me one book that I can read. I have difficulty in reading. Then he offered me. I have 2:30 p.m. every day. I can read with you, and that's how our journey started 2 years back, and then we finished Gita, and then now we are into Bhagavatam. I'm just telling you a little bit more because I feel good to see all of you guys, like youngsters, and even from student days. And I used to feel like maybe Hinduism will like getting into conversions, and I used to, but now after discovering or entering into ISKCON movement and all, I see like so many other ethnicities are getting converted, and I feel so happy and so contented.
So Adinath Krishna Prabhu has been reading with you online?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, we
Excellent.
need like alternate. He kind of forced, he understood that this guy is like curious, but he has passed that phase of life where, I need to bring him. So he made that extra effort, and then over a period, initially I was very reluctant, and I kind of doing it anyway. And then slowly, it opened my eyes, and then I see like, okay, this is Gita is like almost like a management book, actually, on a day-to-day basis. How you encounter, what you encounter, how you need to face any problem, what you eat, what you do, what time you need to wake up. So all of that, when I discovered that, like, I just touched myself, like, I was like stupid to go around all these places and change my country, came here and all. So
It's okay. You don't have to go that far. Krishna has come to you this far. Very good. Can I be made co-host for sharing?
Yes.
So we'll recite a short prayer. I'm sharing it on the Zoom as such. I see you. Actually, I would be helped if you have the access to Zoom as well, just to see the PPT. So when you join the Zoom, you don't have to join the audio, and you can keep your video also off. You know that, right?
Yeah, I can. It's soon, but it's not that if somebody is not on the group, let me know.
Can you share the
Yeah. Yeah, UCSD.
Yeah, Prabhu, please don't join the audio. Yeah, but like you can also turn it off. There is an option of leave the audio.
Recording in progress. Progress.
Switch off your audio, no? Or disconnect with audio. So there is a prayer on your screen. You can as well follow, which means like we'll recite it together. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let's begin with this big question mark. Some of the frequently unanswered questions on the Gita, right? So, question number 1. Any of you would like to speak out? There on your screen.
Question 1 is Bhagavad Gita mythology.
Yeah, is Bhagavad Gita mythology? Big question, right? I think many of you have Indian roots, so definitely you must have studied if you have gone through the Indian educational system, the modern one. So they always call all the Vedic texts as mythology, right? So is it a mythology? So when you call myth means something which never happened or something which was just coined or imagined by someone, right? And then people started believing in it. So actually this term mythology itself was given by Britishers. And even today, many Indians don't even understand what are they saying when they say the term mythology, right? What to say of back then. So they just started saying this term and later on even believing in it. But that doesn't mean this was mythology. How? See, Bhagavad Gita was spoken as pretty much a historical conversation with proper date and all the details, roughly around 5,000 years back. Truly speaking, last year we celebrated 5125th year of Krishna's appearance, Krishna's birthday. So the history is well recorded. The places are designated, and they're confirmed what is given in the scriptures and what is there today. So this actually took place as a historical conversation between Krishna and Arjuna at a place called Jyotisara. This is a holy place in the city of Kurukshetra. So even the directions and the further details of the descriptions match, from today's geography and what is given in the scriptures. Okay. Then question number 2. Is Bhagavad Gita only for renunciates and monks? Again, a big question, right? Or in order to practice the Gita, do I necessarily have to be a renunciate or a monk in saffron? Or do I have to be like a ISKCON devotee? Like do ISKCON devotees have monopoly? You can opt out the audio. So is Bhagavad Gita only for renunciates and monks? No. Arjuna was the very first recipient of Bhagavad Gita. Was he a married man or was he a monk?
Married man.
He was a married man. Twice. For that, I mean, if it matters. Okay, 4 times. Okay, fine. All the more great. And was he a father? Yes, he was a father. Then Abhimanyu. Was he a professional or was he just like having no job and just renounced? He was a professional. In fact, number 1 ranked professional, right? In his profession, So if you look at Arjuna, he was in fact a great champion of whichever field he was in. He attended school. Okay, which school? Dronacharya school, Dronacharya University, whatever. And he was best at it, extremely competent. Okay, extremely learned. And did he have like 6 packs and all? Yeah, he did. He was really good actually. So Arjuna was the very first recipient of the Bhagavad Gita, who himself was a Kshatriya prince, a leader, a professional, a family man, and a warrior. Okay. So if he was chosen as the first recipient, how do we justify this misnomer that Bhagavad Gita is meant only for renunciates and monks? No, it's meant for everyone, universal. Just like you have the washrooms, male, female, and the universal. So the universally applicable teachings. Okay. So see, Gandhiji also, he has this quote which he spoke one time. Anyone would like to read it loud?
When it's onto me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita, and I find the verse to comfort me. And I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming sorrow.
Yeah. And our famous Albert Einstein, maybe Shuo can read this.
When I read the Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems so superfluous.
Yeah, just see. This can be the biggest discovery of a scientific mind. So this is another example. This Vikram Sarabhai, by the way, is known as the spaceman of India. And he firmly felt his shelter in the pages of Gita. Then Prime Minister Modi, I think probably the most famous Indian since last 1 decade or so, he has been promoting Gita as the best gift which can be given by a person to others, and the best gift which can be received by anyone from others. This is from this lady in US. I don't know where she's from in US. Hawaii. So is she a senator, right?
She's now director of intelligence group.
She is in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Trump. Okay, so she's like big guy now.
Big.
Yeah. So she has been talking very openly and repeatedly about the Gita. She took her vows in the White House on the Gita. And she leads a life pretty much in application of Gita's principles. This person is engineer Shri Dharan, who is known as also the metro man of India, who revolutionized this public transport system in India. Like since I think last 3 or 4 decades, he's been extremely active. So he made things happen. So like, very, very well respected and very good gentleman. And he himself every day practices like morning 3 to 4 hours of meditation on Lord Krishna, you know, like a devotee. So he has also spoken very highly on the Gita. So of course, these are very few examples just from different places. So
Stories.
okay.
Stories that come out of something like this. What was a day in your life like when you were working on the metro?
Well, normal thing, I used to get up at 4:30.
4:30? Who gets up at 4:30?
In Delhi, I used to wake up at 4:30. Nowadays, I wake up at 4 o'clock in Kerala.
That's the secret of all efficiency, I tell you.
4:30, I get up. Then I do the normal routines and then do some pranayam. Then I read Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, for about 45 minutes.
Every day?
Every day. Religiously, whenever I am at headquarters. Because when I am on tour or traveling, it's not possible.
So I'm just leaving it at this, but yeah, this. So we can see actually many materially successful people, extremely successful people, have had this background of spiritual life. And specifically, Gita is a very holistic presentation of spiritual life and not at all sectarian. Another very famous unanswered question. Yeah, any of you? Maybe, yeah, Vinay.
Has Bhagavad Gita become old and is it not relevant today?
Yeah, big question. Okay, maybe Gita was fine, but maybe it was relevant only for those guys, back in the Stone Age or whatever. So, see, this is one of the verses from the Gita, 16th chapter. What is there in front of you? Trividam narakasedam. Like to repeat? Dwaram nashanam Kama krodhastatha lobhas Tasmad etatrayam tajet. It's a very simple verse. It said, Trividham narakasedam. There are 3 freeways to hell. Yeah, that's what it literally means. 3 express ways to hell. Quickly you can go to hell. Dwaram nashanam atmana. These gates lead to our own self-destruction. Okay. What are they? Kamaha, Krodha, Tatha, Lobhas. 3 of them. Lust, anger, and greed. Okay. So I like to call it as like if you have lust, anger, and greed, LAG, you lag in life. Okay. So it is Tasmad, therefore, because these 3 are the freeways to hell without any toll charges. Okay. So what should we do? Give them up. Tasmad etad, therefore. Tasmad means therefore. Etad means these. Trayam, these 3. Tyajet, give them up. Okay. Now you tell me, is this just this one verse itself? Okay. Is this relevant and applicable today? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Example situation. You're living in a household and you have people who get angry on you.
Yeah.
Once, twice, okay. Keeps constantly getting angry on you.
Yeah.
At that point in time, what do you do? Do you get angry back at him? Do you stay calm and listen till the time it reaches your threshold? What do you do?
Yeah.
Because you have to live with them. There is not an option.
Yeah. Once there was this European gentleman, I forgot his name. He's a very famous, was a very famous philosopher. Can any of you recollect one of the biggest philosophers from Europe? Socrates. Socrates, yeah. Thank you. He's an all India rank 1, this guy. IIT All India Rank 1. So obviously, we have some help here. So this Socrates, uh, he was with his friends one day in his home. Like he just invited them over. But usually his wife would not appreciate, having all this gatherings and all. So he had this two-story home. So she would shout from the top. So one time he was with his friends having a good time, and she started shouting, and he was like, "Cool, okay." And they were looking like, I mean, they could see like he had a tough time, but it's fine. He was very cool, pretty cool about it. And then suddenly, because he was not even responding, so his wife threw a bucket of cold water from the top on him. I was like, and then they were expecting like a big volcanic eruption of anger from him. Okay. And this guy goes like, again he smiles, huge smile, okay, ear to ear. And he says, sometimes the clouds rumble and sometimes they have a downpour as well. So, Prabhu, the best response what is given in the Shastras is that of maintaining our calm. Okay. Why? First reason Shastras say is that when we become angry, or when anyone becomes angry, upset, so even the intelligence gets polluted. We are not at our best in analyzing what's a good option and what's not a good option while we are angry. It is said, don't make a decision while you are in these kind of extreme emotions. Like, don't make a promise while you're in extreme ecstasy or joy. So anger is one thing which pollutes our entire consciousness. Even biologically, it leads to secretion of hormones which are not desired for good health. This is proven by doctors. This is one reason. Okay. Second reason, what is given is that often we take the person in front of us who's angry as our enemy because we think that we will suffer. But actually, anger itself is a suffering and punishment to one who is having it. Plus, most of the times, what happens is that person is driven by this mode of passion at that time. So it's not he or she who's speaking or acting. It is that passion. It's almost like person is haunted by it. And often people say things which they don't exactly mean, at least not fully. And they act in a very tough way. But after some time, they also cool down. And so if things can be more amicably resolved, it's better. So the idea, it's not worth it. At the same time, a third thing is also given in the Shastras, that we might have to sometimes use the anger, but not get consumed by it. So if we get consumed by it, when anger is driving us, it's not recommended to be angry. But at times, so that others don't exploit us, as like some relatable situation you shared, one might have to sometimes use it in one's defense or even in sometimes in public service. Does it make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think the answer that I got was yes and no.
Yeah, it's not exactly like so easy as one and zero. Yeah.
I completely understand. I just wanted to learn your perspective too.
Our Srila Prabhupada, he would get upset. He would get extremely angry at times. But it was all for Krishna's service and for others' benefit. And so the proof was he could simultaneously be extremely cool and yet extremely angry. Like with one person, he's very angry. And he just looks at another devotee who's doing nice service. And he's like, oh, Hare Krishna. Because he was not driven by anger. Just like you put water on some surface, like say this cushion. So when you put water here, it gets affected by the water. There will be adsorption and absorption, right? But like on a lotus leaf or on those glasses they put in the office buildings and if you put water, there's not even adsorption, right? It is not affected by it. So this principle is given in the Bhagavad Gita. Padma Patra Ivam Bhasa. Live in this world, but don't become of this world. Live in this world, but don't become a part of this world. Don't become affected by it. When you become affected by it, then there is a problem. Use it in your defense or in service to others and God, but don't become consumed by it. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but by practice, it's possible. By practice, it's possible. So it's a journey wherein, say today, your response time in not being affected by anger, maybe like an hour or couple of hours, whatever. But as you practice spiritual life, it'll come down to minutes, and then to seconds, and then even instantaneously or naturally, you'll not be affected by it. Not just anger, even lust, greed, ego. Yeah. Like I'll tell you one example. So I frequently travel in trains in India for my service, spiritual service here and there. So this one time I was in this train and it was like middle of the night, and I had boarded the train already late, so I was like tired, and so I had this upper berth, and I was like taking rest, and this ticket collector, he just comes, and now many of these ticket collectors are often insensitive guys. You know, just switch on the light and start like speaking at a loud volume, and so he just woke me up and said, ticket, ticket, ticket. Okay, so when you just get up, na, like in the middle of a deep sleep, so you take few seconds to like take in the data around you and start responding, right? So, so I was like a little slow in responding, and he was like, he again said, ticket, ticket, what's your name and what's your birth, and show me your ID. So this there was this another old person who was on the neighboring upper seat. So he was awake, he was wide awake. So he told to the ticket collector in Hindi that, hey, why you're troubling him? He's a sadhu baba, He might not even be a literate guy, Why trouble him with all? So I heard that, and I felt so offended, my ego got hurt. I was like, I looked at that guy, as like, you fool, should I show you? So we have that ego, we may be like small ant, in the creation, but we have a huge ego, right? So, so Prabhu, it took me like 10, 12 seconds, why I'm getting upset, how does it matter? From his point of view, it's right only. And it's good to be a nobody. It's good to be a humble, menial person, okay? I mean, that way, what education or what are we talking about? What positions in this world? We came with nothing, we'll go with nothing. Nothing is ours, And what big man we have become by having this or that actually. It's by our character and values, our real introduction is, So I was like, but those few seconds were like, and that time I became active. I really got up. Very nice alarm, Right, na? So it happens, bro. Another time, like, say I'm a monk now. Okay, last 15 years officially, but 20 years unofficially, I've been a monk. So, like several years back, I was talking to my parents, okay, on phone, and they told me like some big decision they took, some property decision, and it was not a very intelligent decision, amongst themselves and some things, many things together. Okay, they had not even shared with me. Suddenly one day they just told that they had been doing this. So I was like, hey, why, this should not have been done, and what about? So I had that thing, like I just wanted to like tell them. And then it suddenly dawned upon me, hey, come on now. I am in the family of my spiritual master now. And I should not be identifying with that. I left all that property and from a material point of view, like, not my relationships with them, but then, that is one thing. And second thing, I am not there to take responsibilities. So there is no point me telling them, do this, don't do this, and then I'm not there on the ground level. They and my brothers and sisters, they have to deal with it, right? So why should I barge in unnecessarily? So yes, that frequency and amplitude of our agitation, that will reduce over a period of time when we begin to practice spiritual life. Does it make sense? So see, why I showed you this verse, that Gita is still relevant today. In fact, probably more relevant, so to say, than 5,000 years back, because people are having a tougher time now with their vices inside their hearts. See, this chart is there. It must be there on your screen. Of course, it may not be readable, but the idea is that for everything we face, there are multiple references in the Gita, very clear. And Gita didn't have to update itself over a period of last 5,000 years. Same thing. You see, any books which we have here on the planet, they get revised edition, latest edition, right? Or something else comes to like supplement or complement, right? But Gita is not like that. So Gita's wisdom is timeless wisdom, time-tested wisdom, golden wisdom, universally applicable wisdom. Okay, and it's not just like that religious wisdom. It's actually a very, very human wisdom. So it's like Gita's knowledge is like your head is in the clouds, but your feet are pretty much on the ground. It's not just in cloud solution. Yeah. And the proof is that those who have followed it, they become happies. From hippies to happies. Okay. Fourth question, a very famous one again. Anyone?
Is Bhagavad Gita only for old people?
Yeah. Is Bhagavad Gita only for old people or for youngsters like Shubham? Can you read the next one? Is it readable for you? Okay, no problem.
Who should read the Bhagavad Gita? The young, to learn how to learn. The old, to know how to die. The ignorant, for wisdom. The learned, knowledge. The rich, for compassion. The dreamer, for
Enchantment.
enchantment. The practical, for concern. The weak for the well, the strong for strength, the strong for direction, the humble for exaltation.
The weary for rest. The troubled for peace. The troubled means those are troubled in mind. The doubting for assurance, for faith. The sinner for salvation. The seeker for moksha. And the human for. So these are not just to say in a rhematic way, but this is a reality, Prabhu. I can assure you, just like there is a electrical, what do you call it? One which balances the voltage. Transformer, is that so? Stabilizer, yeah. So it gives you a steady voltage despite the fluctuations in the main line, So similarly, Bhagavad Gita is a balancer. So if someone is proud, okay, then he goes through the Gita and starts applying, he will definitely come to a very humble state of mind. And if someone has been like an inferiority complex, okay, either superiority or inferiority, it will bring him down to the right level of consciousness. So I've seen like so many instances like that in people's lives, So similarly, if someone is feeling weak or lonely or depressed, okay, or helpless or shelterless, okay, or clueless in situations, if he goes through the Gita and takes shelter of Krishna, just like Arjuna did. See, Arjuna himself was feeling helpless, like he was crying like a baby, feeling very weak, very weak. He was unable to take decision. Yeah, this is another thing. Confused. You go through the Gita, you get all those pointers to actually bring you to strength, to clarity, to confidence. So, and if you're rich, you start getting compassion because you you really realize what real richness could be. You know, not just money. Some people are so poor, all they have in this world is money. So when actually they come across the Gita, they realize what true wealth is. Hmm. So like that, it's there actually. Everything is there in the Gita. If you are old, you learn how to die, and if you are young, you learn how to live. Hmm. So let's go ahead. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken on battlefield. Why so? We need to mute. Yeah, thank you. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken on battlefield. Why? There is a big reason for that. See, if Bhagavad Gita was spoken in a very uh, peaceful uh, monastery in the forest, let's say a Buddhist monastery in the forest, where even a drop of water falls somewhere and you hear it, like pin drop silence. Okay. Then people would have had this reason that how can I practice the Gita? Because I'm not in that kind of situation, like where everything is on standstill. There are no other duties and all. People often say, I don't have time for hearing the Gita, reading the Gita. Just imagine Arjuna's situation. This guy was amidst 640 million warriors. How many? 640 million. This is bigger than all the battles of humankind put together till now in the history. Just for the sake of numbers, Second World War, which was considered till now on paper, on record, the highest um, like bleeding war of mankind. Its official numbers were 6 to 7 million all over the planet. 6 to 7 million. And Bhagavad Gita, 640 million, not Bhagavad Gita. I mean the Battle of Kurukshetra. 640 million warriors waiting to kill each other. If you know the story of Pandavas given in the Mahabharata, for Bhima, this was like an opportunity which came after a century. Every day he was dreaming for this opportunity to kill Duryodhana. And just imagine now he gets this official opportunity and he's like, get set, just go is required. Okay. And Arjuna, at that time, Arjuna and Krishna start this cool conversation in the middle of the battlefield. They were the ones supposed to give the green flag. Okay, go ahead. And everyone's just waiting. It's like a climax of the movie, and two guys start coolly talking philosophy. Why did Krishna stage it like that? So that everyone is giving his full attention. Hey, come on, what are these guys talking? Like climax moment, you just pause it and it's. So if Arjuna could take out time and benefit by hearing Gita in such extreme and emergency circumstances, who can give that reason today? That no, it's not needed for me, it's not for me, or this is not the right time at least. Nobody can give that. Okay. Second thing, Gita doesn't just give some principle about death or some belief system or something, or some religious practice like arati or something. No, Gita pretty much gives you a way of life. There are 4 verses in Gita which talk about food, directly about food, exclusively about food. 4 verses. There are couple of verses in Gita which talk about charity. Where one should give charity, in what spirit one should give charity, where one should not give charity, what kind of charity. Okay. So it talks about almost every practical aspect we have in life, at least principally it does. So it gives sutras. Okay. And therefore is also called as manual of life, as is given. It talks about relationships. It talks about even the choices we should have in clothes, and how should we talk, in what tone and what tone we should not talk, and why. Everything is there. So this is Gita. Okay. And one may say, so should I not study the Gita in my old age? After all, spiritual life should be for oldies. No, youth is an age of learning. Prabhupada was asked in one university program one time that why are most of the people in your Hare Krishna movement all the young people? Okay. And Prabhupada, instead of answering, spoke a counter question. He said, why are mostly everybody in the university, all the students, young people? They said, because youth is the age of learning. Prabhupada said, exactly. So Bhagavad Gita presents a science, and therefore it has to be learnt with an open and intelligent mind. Okay. It's not a set of dogmas or orthodox practices or just some belief system which you buy without any logic. No, it's a science. And you see, therefore, Bhagavad Gita was a conversation, Vartalap. Conversation means two-way. Like you ask questions and, you say, okay, what are my doubts? What are my hesitations? And then you receive answers. So there is. And one last question. Yeah, anyone? Maybe who is not yet. What's your good name? Krishna.
Rishabh.
Rishabh. Oh, that's also Lord's incarnation. Yeah. So go ahead. Would like to read that question.
Is Bhagavad Gita only for Hindus?
Yeah. Good question, right? Or only for Indians? So there is no word called Hindu in the Vedas. There are 4,560 total scriptures in the Vedic tradition. How many? 4,560. This is just one of them, Bhagavad Gita. Of course, this is a very primary one. But in entirety of Vedic scriptures, there's not even one word called Hindu. This word was actually coined by some of the people who lived on the other side of the river Sindhu, opposite to what we call today as India. So those people would call the people living on the other side as Sindhus, like Sindhu River and people living there like that. And so over a period of time, that Sindhus was began it began being pronounced as Hindus, right? Like that. Like somebody's name is Yashavardhan and you start calling him Yash. Like that, something like that. So this word Hinduism came about, Hindu. But otherwise, there is no officially in Sanskrit, in Hindi, there is no word like that. Yeah. Like Newton's law is there. It's only for Christians, right? No? Yeah, but Newton was Christian, right? So it should be only for Christians. No, it's universal. Similarly, when Krishna talks about lust, anger, greed, selfishness, or desire for attaining love and peace, it's universal actually. The name Krishna may sound sectarian, but actually Krishna also literally means in Sanskrit all attractive. So I'm very sure when Jesus said Christ, the conception of Christ as God also would be all attractive. Not that Jesus said, oh, if you're calling God as Krishna, then I would say my Christ is not all attractive. No. We may call by any name, just like sun. Sun is also called as Bhaskar or Surya, or Suraj. Okay. And in so many different languages, it may be called with different names. What do you call in Telugu?
Aditya.
Aditya, yeah, right. So yet we know it's the same object. See, 5 names we got right now. It's the same object, right? Like that. So this Bhagavad Gita has been translated into more than 59 languages in this world. And Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita actually got translated into almost all of them. Yeah. And you'll be very happy to know, till now, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is published by Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, BBT. Till now, 550 million plus copies have been distributed all over the world. And the number is 660 million if you include the books based upon them, based upon that Gita. It's a huge number, you know. So this is the highest number of any spiritual book in the history of mankind after Bible. See, Bible is mostly supported and sponsored so much, it's available for free. There are so many websites of different churches. You go and give your address, you'll get like 1,000 copies of Bible within a week, free at your doorstep, delivered. Probably even something more along with that. But Bhagavad Gita has not been sponsored or patronized like that. You know, India has its limitations in terms of finance. But yeah, it has also been. But what I'm saying is most of these Gitas have been paid for. So that speaks some more things, you know. So see 5 basic truths of Bhagavad Gita. So I'm not getting so much into this, but I'm just showing you. So you see these 5 pictures in this slide. So these are the 5 subject matters of the Gita. What are they? I'll not get into it today because I'll be focusing on one particular topic for next 15 minutes and we'll end it. But just to tell you, these are the 5 topics of Gita, 5 subject matters. First is Ishvara. On the top, you see Krishna's picture. So Bhagavad Gita talks, one of the subject matter is Ishvara. Second subject matter, which Bhagavad Gita talks about is Jiva. So you see that picture right below Krishna's. That is a picture of how one soul, like all of us, we are also souls. An individual soul goes through the cycle of birth and death, transmigration, like from one life to the other, based on his karma and based on his desires. So, Jiva. Okay. Third subject matter is Prakriti. Like you see those 3 ladies out there with those strings controlling a guy. Yeah, controlling a couple of guys. Yeah. So these 3 ladies, they represent the 3 modes of material nature. You know, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Like we also must have experienced this so many times in our life that often we are controlled by some emotions or some urges beyond our intelligence or beyond even our realizations in life. Like sometimes a man becomes lusty and he doesn't realize what he does in that lust. You know, it's like a strong gush of wind comes and he just, you know, taken away, carried away with it, you know, against his wishes, you know. So like that, driven, when one is driven by different modes. So like that. So this is called Prakriti, how material nature controls us when we are not in pure consciousness. When we are in pure consciousness, material nature cannot control us. I'll give you an example. Say I'm a student in a university and I flunk in like multiple subjects. I get like F grade, you know, fail or whatever here they call. What will I do? If I'm a drunkard, I'll just go like to the bar. And in Hindi they say, Gam ka sathi ram. Okay? We'll go and drink. And let's say I top the entire university. You know, I'm still the same guy. What will I do? How will I celebrate? Same. Okay. So basically, when I'm a person not with a pure consciousness and pure lifestyle, I don't have much choices in life. Believe me. Like let's say I'm a very lusty guy. You know, another case. You bring anyone in front of me, Indian, American, married, unmarried, this, that, young, not so young, teenage, this, or you don't bring anyone. My mind will create it. So basically, I don't have much control over my own self. Again, another case, if I'm a greedy guy. So anywhere I see, even if I see a temple, good property, huh? Good prospects of, you know. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is what happens. People come to even temples and different people have different perspectives. You know? People find out a business within the Gita. I mean, of like business of the Gita. You know, like, ye acha business hai. So So this Prakriti, this material nature, based on our consciousness level, actually controls us. So this is the third subject matter of the Gita. Fourth subject matter of the Gita is directly written there, karma. So what are the laws of material nature which govern us, like action and reaction, and so on. And fifth, the last one is kala. Kala means, now this is the factor through which, in the form of which, like Supreme Lord governs the entire world. So his control, his presence is not in a personal way, but rather in a background way. Because kala is one factor. Like we cannot stop ourselves from getting old, right? As Prabhuji said, in middle age he came, and as time progresses, like old age comes, right? I remember, Prabhu, like around 3 or 4 years back, middle age started setting in for me. Like now I'm 40. Okay. So around in the age of like 36 or so, I remember like my body, started going through some changes, like my digestion system, took a little dip. Previously, like, you eat anything, anytime, any quantity, body was like all good. You sleep anywhere, anytime. I mean, like, body was really good. Like, I used to call it like, very friendly body, it, it doesn't resist. And I'm telling you, it took me an year or so to accept that change in my body. Body was now dictating terms. Okay, yeah, there's no problem. Yeah. So it suddenly, like, I couldn't take it. I thought, okay, maybe something is wrong, just maybe some temporarily something. But it took me a year or like more than a year or so to realize that no, I'm not. It's a different phase now. So this kala is that factor which is beyond any kind of desire. You may be like billionaire, trillionaire, whatever else. I think this is the place where many of these people are there. And you may be, I think it was at the age of 56, this Apple guy, no? Steve Jobs. I think he died at the age of 56 with some cancer or something. And he spoke amazing realizations. How time is so powerful. In his last few days, actually, he wrote this thing that today, at this moment, whether I am in a mansion of $30 million or had I been in an apartment of $300,000, what difference does it make? Today, whether I have the $3,000 phone or whether I had that $30 burner phone, what difference does it make? So he spoke of like many of those things which are there in the American dream. You can Google it. You'll find it actually. It's not a big, very famous quote. So time does that to us. So these are the 5 subject matters of the Gita, and very relevant actually. You would like to know the answers to these, right? And that is why there is the recommendation of study of the Gita. Okay. So going ahead, one of the teachings of Gita is don't be exhausted by the mind, but be exhausted with the mind. Because the mind is not often our best friend, but it poses, it shows up like that, but it's not like that. So what do I mean by this? Like sometimes the mind tends to tell us, it just tells the student, tomorrow might be your exam, but let's play video game today. It says as if like, I'm your very good friend. Like, and to some young boy, the mind can convince the young boy. The goal of life is to somehow or other get this young girl. And it'll do its best to distract the guy. And when the guy gets frustrated, mind will say, who told you to get into all this and destroy your life? Now you don't have any other option. If either you want to forget all these things, go to the bar and just get drunk. When he gets drunk, hey, you are a wasted guy, okay? You're good for nothing. Probably the only good thing for you is to commit suicide, all kind of, and the mind will, you go to a public gathering, mind will tell such a person, actually nobody is liking you, nobody is looking at you. Especially young boys and girls, they have this big problem of, how many Instagram followers I have, and how many people are looking at me. One pimple also comes now, and the teenage girl, for her, it's like equivalent to death. Because mind will make her go crazy. People are comparing you with others and all that. So therefore, it is said, don't be exhausted by the mind, but be exhausted with the mind. So, Pro, I'll just take few minutes more of yours. Don't want to keep you for long. Hare Krishna, welcome, Ramesh Pro. So I'm leaving some parts of the discussion. I just want to cover this one thing, okay? Nature of mind. This will be very useful actually to know. This is the main topic actually I intended to take today. I happened to give an introduction to the Gita. So the class starts now. So, nature of mind, M. Okay, I just took this acronym MIND. Okay, mind. So, M stands for magnifies. So, mind has this tendency of magnifying everything. Okay, magnifying everything like so much. Sometimes the person may just say something to us like maybe little sternly, you know and we just feel, oh, maybe he doesn't like me only, maybe he's thinking like that. You've seen this, like mind has this nature like that. It goes on, uh, it has its own pace to, or I often like to say, like mind has its own mind. So, and it makes us helpless at times. No, stubborn. It just magnifies a small issue and makes it into a big. And I think many people even get divorced over stuff which began from a very small exchange. So this is one nature of mind. Even it magnifies illusory pleasures. Like sometimes a person gets so caught up with lust, I have to get this girl. And as quickly as they fall in love, they get married, and they're calling each other, like he calls the girl as, in India, like they call, Chandramukhi. Chandramukhi means like a very beautiful flower. Okay. Like you're like moon. And after marriage, it becomes Suryamukhi. You're a very hot flower. The temperature is becoming too much for me. And after a while, it becomes like Jwalamukhi, volcanic. I'm burning. I'm dying. Therefore, please get away. Because what happened when he initially saw the girl, the mind magnifies. This is the pleasure life is all about. The sex pleasure is life is all about. Or in the young age, there's another thing, mind gets into like, I'll put up a startup, and okay, you put up a startup, that's not a problem. I'm not in any way advocating here not to be ambitious. But to think that life is all about, I mean, life is all about that only. Or this is the thing in life. If this is not there, life is a waste or something. Or in India, it is still like that. Like so many guys I've seen who say, "Oh, I have to prove to them that I can also clear UPSC and become an IAS officer, or I can also go to America." If you are born a Telugu boy, before you are given a name, you are booked for, he has to go to West. Correct, no, bro? Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, I'm saying it in a dramatic way, but it's quite close to that. Yeah. Bro, I've heard from them. Like one boy was told, hey, from our family, nobody has yet gone to US. You have to go and do that.
And recently, and I know he doesn't do well like in academics. I'm telling my visa situation itself is a burden, even if you do well everything, but you are already halfway. You are risking too much. I said like No,
Yeah.
and he's like, you went and settled, now you are telling me not to come.
Yeah, yeah. You ate the pie and I should not. Yeah, it's a
What to do, brother? Support it.
status quo. Status quo. So this mind has this problem of magnifying. You know, I've seen this thing sometimes, like in our Hare Krishna feasts. So there is an array of dishes, okay, and the mind tends to think, hey, this thing looks very fancy. It must be the most tasty, and I take like a lot of quantity of that, okay, in the first go itself, because there is a lot of rush. So I'm not comfortable in again coming and standing in queue. So let me take a lot of that. And when I sit down and start eating, hey, this was fancy, but this is not so tasty. Because the mind magnified the pleasure. Prabhu, you go and ask any Indian still. For him, I would love to go to America. So much money, so good life. Now you know it. It's only that promises most of the times it's a mental promise, right? You know. Of course, the best thing I love about America is the cleanliness, the orderliness. You know, it's really good. But there are, every coin has its flip side, right? But the mind, it always shows like that. Every guy who's studying in a local engineering college in India, he's thinking, if only I could be in NIT, I would have been happy. And a guy who's studying in NIT, he is thinking, if only I could be in an IIT, I would have been happy. And the guy studying in IIT, if only I could have been in Stanford or MIT or whatever, then I would be happy. And the guy studying in Stanford, he's going to Hare Krishna. I like to say, why don't you directly come to Hare Krishna? Of course, what I mean to say is people are looking for pleasures here and there because the mind makes very inappropriate, disproportionate promises because it magnifies. It magnifies problems and it magnifies uh, potential pleasures.
More of a projection.
Yeah. Projects. And then mind only takes the devil's advocate also. Hey, who told you to do this? Mind convinces a guy, commit suicide, you're good for nothing. It is mind only. According to World Health Organization, the biggest disease in this current times, coming or almost already there, is mental wellness. I mean, lack of mental wellness. People are having so many of this motivational speakers, this and that. Actually, if one practices Krishna consciousness, every day is a motivational speech. I mean, you can go through that. Okay. So mind in that way creates problems for us. Next nature of mind is I. What is I? Imagines, invents when there is none. Okay. Like I'll give you an example. It's a story told by Prabhupada. Okay. So this is like pre-British, pre-independence era story from India. Okay. So it just signifies something. It's not literally a true story, but in many ways it's a literally true story. So there was this one guy who heard in his big town of Kolkata that a very special circus has come to the city and it's putting up a huge show in a very famous ground. And so there was a lot of advertisement. And especially it was advertised, it's a very inexpensive ticket. So like they say like 25 paisa circus. Okay. So 25 paisa even back then was quite cheap. So many people like, oh, very nice. So this guy goes the first day and he's like in there for the ticket. He stands in the queue and he gets the ticket. And then there are many, many entry doors all around the camp, circus camp. So he goes through one of them. And as he enters inside, he just sees one empty room or an empty hall. And he's like wondering, nothing is there. And he starts like, because there was this expectation and he bought a ticket. So he spent some money. So he says that, hey, where is the circus? Where is the circus? I'm here for the circus. I have the ticket. Where is the circus? Anyone there? And then a huge guy comes out Okay. Now, what's up with you? Hey, I want to see circus. I got this ticket, okay? You want to see circus? Then he gives him a good beating, okay? You still want to see more circus? No, no, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. He shows him the way out. Now this guy goes out. As he's going out, more people are coming in for that like circus and they want to buy that ticket. They say, hey, how was the circus? How was the circus? Circus bhalo? Yeah, khub bhalo. Very good. Very good. In fact, there were elephants. I've never seen that size of elephant. And what amazing jokers, clowns. And what kind of gymnastic? You must go and see. Man, there's nothing like yourself experiencing. The next guy is more now convinced I should go. He goes, he buys a ticket. He also goes. He also has same experience. When he comes out, hey, let me not tell to others. And like this, it goes on. Now this guy is wondering after he comes back to home that since so many days this circus has been there and so many people have been talking so good about it. Because everyone had that ego or image issue, no? So and then he is thinking like maybe I only got some bad experience by mistake. Maybe I went too early. So let me try once again. So then he goes again. Okay. And then again he gets the treatment. Then after some days, again he wonders, maybe my luck is bad. So I always went for an inauspicious time and they were upset with me. And I think I should go from a different entrance this time. This is exactly what happens in material life. Exactly what happens. Person thinks entire world is saying if you get a good sexual experience, you'll be happy. Arey Baba, in the history of the mankind till now, nobody has been satisfied just with sex life. If sex could satisfy people, then prostitutes would have been the most blissful guys or girls because they're getting paid for it. But no, it does not. It's just in an instant, in an instance, it may give you a kick, but it does not satisfy. Money. Entire world is selling this idea. Money will give you. But look at Bay Area. And there is money in air here, literally. Everywhere money. So, but there's not that level of satisfaction. So the mind imagines a lot of pleasures. Right? Disneyland, they go. Where is the reality? You also know that Mickey Mouse is just wearing that suit, right? So mind has this nature of imagining. Similarly, it imagines maybe this guy loves me, maybe this guy hates me. The previous one was magnifying, and this is imagining, even when there is none. Like that. So it imagines pleasure, it imagines problems. Okay. Then N. N means neglects. So mind has this tendency of neglecting our real good, calling our friend as an enemy as a friend. Misidentifying, neglecting. I'll give you an example from Ramayana. You know the basic story of Ramayana, right? Sita was abducted by Ravana. And so when Ravana abducted Sita, so many times his true well-wishers told him that this is not good. Marich told him. Now Marich was a very, after Ravana, he was the most powerful Rakshasa. And Ravana knew how powerful Marich could be. And when Ravana went to him with a proposal that you help me abduct Sita, you play the role of that golden deer to put Ram into illusion, and I'll capture Sita. And Ram goes to hunt that animal. Marich said, which enemy of yours has given you this bad advice of taking a panga with Ram? Right? Which enemy of yours? Who has signed your death contract? These were the words spoken by Marich. And Ravana got immediately like I mean, he was immediately alerted actually. If Marich is saying this, it's a big thing. But then his mind cheered him in some time, along with his minister, that come on, you are Ravana. So he goes to Marich and says, right now I'll kill you if you don't cooperate. And Marich thinks in his mind, this guy is gone now. And if I have to die anyway, it seems. If I help him, Ram will kill me. If I don't help him, he will kill me. So Marich thought better to be killed by Ram. So the idea is Ravana neglected the good advice, thinking that instead of taking Marich as his well-wisher, he took Marich as his enemy. Today's young people, they take internet as the best advisor without even checking for qualification. And internet is an open source thing. Anybody can publish anything on the website. But then people take it so seriously, isn't it? Because teenagers, they neglect their teachers and parents' advices, and they'll take more seriously advice of some others which may not matter in life. Even later on, Vibhishan went to the extent of getting expelled from Ravana's kingdom. But he gave the right advice to Ravana, that give up Sita. He did not listen. His wife, his principal wife Mandodari gave that. Hanuman did that. And he burned Hanuman's tail for that, for giving that advice. But you see, Ravana killed himself by neglecting what was his true, what do you call it, true welfare. And he chose the other thing because his mind cheated him at all times. Like on the bottle of whiskey or anything, it's written there. Or on the pack of cigarettes, right? The guy is cheated. So it neglects good opportunities because the mind makes us stare for very long at some closed wall. Like if I'm going on staring at this and how I am not able to get out. There is the door. I'm not able to see because my mind is stuck here. Unless I go to US, I will not be successful. Of course, I'm not having any comments on your life. I'm just saying for a common man, the example may differ. Just and last, D stands for denies. Mind denies reality. And D also stands for distractive. Mind creates so many distractions. Big number of distractions. You try to do anything which is good for you, and you see mind, or you try to like streamline your thoughts. You try to like make some determined changes in your life, in your lifestyle or whatever, and then mind suddenly it acts like a stubborn child. Imagine you go for, I think, Gopi sir or Ramesh Prabhu, they might have seen this, because they've seen more number of years. So sometimes there's a child along with the parents. Let's say they've gone to supermarket. The child becomes like stubborn. I want this, or some toy or something like that. Does it happen, bro? Yeah, it happens. Child, I just want this. I had this cousin, okay? He was 3 years elder to me. Like he was the son of my father's elder brother. So when we were little kids, so they took us for some picnic, like both the families. And we were returning back. So this cousin, he saw, like he was my brother, elder brother, but that time he was like 7, 8, 7 or so, maybe. I was 4, I think. 4 or 5, maybe. He was 7 or 8. So he saw certain things like, actually that place was so good. It was in a forest, and they were giving pets, like they were selling pets, like some deer and rabbits, yeah, like 5, 6 types of animals, and 15, 20 types of birds they had, like very, very nice. And this guy, he got this thing. I want this rabbit, and I want this dog, and I want this deer. And of course, my father and his father, they denied. They said, hey, come on, we have to just drive back to our home, and like we've come in this couple of cars, how are we going to carry on? And we don't have place or enthusiasm to keep. And this guy, he just started crying. No, I want this means I want this. And he just lied down in the middle of the road. and nobody's car he allowed to pass through. He made such a scene there. After like 15-20 minutes, both these adults had to surrender to him. And then he bargained. Now he understood. Now I am the boss. So finally, he took like so many birds, right? So many 4 or 5 animals. They had to hire another like pickup or something to carry them. And his honeymoon period with all of them went away after 1 week, and he released all of them later on. And I was quite impressed, My God, this guy has guts, whatever he wants. So I was learning, my mother was telling, don't learn this lesson. But our mind can be like that. Sometimes like we are struggling with our mind, but the mind just pushes it. So stubborn. He will make us deny even what is such a clear experience or realization of so many people. Or so many people have suggested that to us, don't do this or do this. But mind will say, no, no, no. I am telling you, again, you try this or do this. And that's a mind thinks anything which is fancy, you will get. Mind makes it appear like fancy. So our mind distracts us. Like you go to internet for checking your mail, and then you end up like after 3 hours, hey, what did I do? I just went on going for these apps. That's how mind distracts you. We don't even come to know, what the mind does with us. So it denies reality. See this small clip. The point is, mind is so powerful actually. It can create havoc. Hmm. Just a thing to show how.
It's so huge.
Same mind, when it is controlled, see, it can be like a blessing. Hmm.
In progress.
So, in conclusion, Bhagavad Gita can teach us how to control our mind, how to make it from our enemy to friend. Hmm. Because when mind is purified, it's our best friend. It's like a contaminated water can make us diseased, and pure water, clean water, can bring us back to good health. Hmm. So mine also, same thing actually. Hmm. Like fire can burn a house when uncontrolled, and the same fire can help us cook wonderful food when it is used in a controlled fashion. So how to control the mind? Again, coming back to the mind. Meditation, intelligence, and nullifying our contaminations, okay, or our ego, and designing a good lifestyle for us. So all these things are there within the Gita, which we will not be able to cover today, but it's there. Meditation, especially by chanting Krishna's holy names. See, we might have heard of so many tough meditation, but it's the easiest, and believe me, it's the most effective form of meditation. Whether you do kirtan or japa. Japa means when you chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly on beats. Kirtan means in a musical format. Intelligence, see, spiritual intelligence is different and material intelligence is different. So spiritual intelligence is nourished by gaining wisdom of like spiritual wisdom. So in Gita, we get this spiritual wisdom. And our eyes they start seeing things differently. You know, it's the same world, but just imagine like if someone is always used to see things through a red glass, red spectacles or yellow ones. So then we see colored vision. But when we wear like a plain spectacle, so then what happens? We see things as they are. So Gita can help us do that. Like for example, who am I? If I ask this question to myself, all of us. So we have this, I'm an Indian, I'm an American, I'm a green card holder, I'm an IT guy, I'm young, I'm a boy, I'm a Hindu, or so many, I'm an undergrad. So many of these identifications and so many of these designations will carry. And these become problems for us in our relationships, in our dealings in this world. You know? But like that's what happens, no? Somebody's fighting. Hey, do you know who I am? Actually, we are spirit souls, you know. And this material world is temporary. As fascinating as it may be, but it is temporary. All that glitters is not gold. So many problems get solved. Like somebody may call a very fat lady as, football or hippopotamus or elephant. People do that, right? And you feel offended. But when you understand I'm not my body at all, and it's a temporary one. So it solves so much of confusion in our life. That is why spiritual intelligence is very primary. Otherwise, how do you make your decisions? Just based on material factors? If you take in the spiritual parameters, so many puzzles of life get very clear. Should I be a master and controller, or should I be a servant and well-wisher of everyone? Should I envy others, or should I be happy with others' success? Third is nullify. Nullify means the wrong things, not our existence itself. Just like, or you can say it like purify. So in every sense, especially our ego and our consciousness. And the fifth is, giving us designing a better lifestyle for us, a lifestyle in goodness, a lifestyle of selflessness. So I don't want to get into detail, but I will stop here for today. But I hope like I'm able to convey across that message that what Gita can do. So all these things which we showed in a presentation format are actually directly from the Gita, from various verses of the Gita itself. Even the lifestyle thing, like lifestyle thing is discussed in 14th chapter of the Gita. Very beautifully actually by Krishna. Even mantra for marriage, how to make marriage a spiritual offering to the Lord. Even that is given in the Gita. So everything, all the aspects of our life are covered in principle. And Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like graduate study of the Gita, that gives further details of applying those principles in our life. Okay. So here in this forum, as well as in some other forums associated with our devotees here, so you have this opportunity to take up these courses, right? Initially to begin with on Gita, the fundamentals of spiritual life. And in just like matter of 6 or 7 sessions, 6 or 7 sittings of couple of hours each, all the fundamentals will be cleared, including, after that, even including who is Shiva, who is Ganesha, who is Krishna, who is Vishnu, who is Balaji. Okay. And what is Bhakti Yoga, what is Karma Yoga, what is Jnana Yoga? Why are there so many religions like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, okay, Judaism, and Sikhism, and Hinduism? Okay. So, what is reincarnation? What are the details of laws of karma, laws of nature? Okay. What do scriptures talk about marriage? Who should become a monk? Who should not become a monk? all these questions actually, they will start getting clear. What is the goal of life? What is heaven? What is hell? What is Vaikuntha or spiritual world? Okay. So, I wish all the best to all of you in your spiritual endeavors, your spiritual journey to Sri Krishna or Sri Ramachandra or Sri Jagannath Ji, and as well as in your overall life. May you become a good example for others to follow, because in this world there are many green card holders and there are many whatever other holders, whatever other visa, or you must be a citizen already, right?
No,
No? Okay. Okay. You must be a citizen, right? Yeah. Born here. Born here, right?
No, bombs, but I think.
Okay, but you got citizenship now. So whoever you are, there are a lot of people like you. There's no dearth of any of us, our category. But you know what is really needed in this world? Are good examples. People of good examples. People who have good character. People who have selflessness. People who have compassion. Even if you become the next Sundar Pichai or Steve Jobs or whoever, okay? People at max can be impressed, not touched. People may become infatuated or attracted by you at max, by whatever you can do in this material world. You may become the next Donald Trump. But not even one person can love us from heart for being Donald Trump or Sundar Pichai. It has been the history of this world that people will love us only when we have those values, those qualities, which Gita and Sri Krishna can very easily actually give us. That is their mission, to make us saintly. Not that everyone gets into saffron, but I mean to say, like our software can be saintly. Hardware maybe whatever. Yeah. And just by chanting the names of the Supreme Lord, we can really get purified and decorated with those qualities. So this practice of Gita life is a science. In science, you do experiment, right? You say, okay, if I mix this chemical with this other one, there'll be a precipitate or there'll be a color change. Similarly, this Gita is like that. Okay. Pratyaksha vagamam dharmyam susukham kartumam. 9th chapter, 2nd verse says, this Gita is the topmost of all knowledge. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyaksha vagamam dharmyam susukham kartumam. And you'll be able to clearly see those changes, in consciousness first, and then slowly manifesting outside externally. So I once again thank you for spending your valuable time, and sorry for the delay. So, late, so maybe we can have questions if some during Prasad, and we can just do maybe a 2 or 3 minutes, just keep them to end with. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Thank you. Keith. So we'll do the same kirtan so that we can carry home that memory, that experience. So let's try to chant heartily without any putting aside everything else from our mind for a couple of minutes. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. राधा मदन मोहन की जय। श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Mohan, for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll serve prasadam. I think we're going to get it. And also we have a camp on